Hello folks, it's me again, Boris. That I mentioned the first two parts. I'm going to give you some information about from where I got all this wonderful knowledge about our planet Earth, how it was created, how it was partially destroyed by the time of Noah's flood, and how it's going to be recreated by the Creator who did it in the very first time. So here I have some information for you. It's this page. Number one, Dr. Carl Baugh, PhD. Dr. Carl Baugh, Creation Evidences Museum, Glen Rose, Texas. Panorama of Creation, 6 parts, each series almost 1 hour. And then the second one, Creation in Symphony, as well 6 hours, each part about 1 hour. Then the Quest for the Noah's Ark, where I said you can see the Noah's Ark completely exposed on the slopes of the Mount of Ararat. The way that the Bible is describing it, it's still there. And after the big earthquake 1840s around, that the mountain cracked and huge deep canyon, Ahora Gorge, appeared deeper than the Grand Canyon into the United States. So the ark cracked and the half of the ark starts sliding downhill, and some beams and pieces are going down the hill. So that's how they start looking into the contemporary mountain climbers and expeditors, that they were going for the quest and findings and proving to the world that yes, Noah's Ark is still there, it still exists, and it was the God's plan to put it in there after the flood. So the other good part is the young age of the planet Earth with Loni Melashenko. Here represents very good view with Creation Institute and Moody Institute. It's a very good presentation. The Young Earth from John Morris. It's a book as well from the Moody Institute, The Wondrous of God's Creation. Dr. Robert Gentry, All Investigations on the Granite, which is the crust of the planet Earth. Any book of him and his son you can find extremely precious. 3 times he was taken to court because the way that he represents the things totally demolishes the evolution theory. So it's a real threat to the evolutionists. The Trembling Earth. These are the series which are exposing the contemporary planet Earth after the flood. It's an interview and so on and on. As I said, after the flood we have tectonic plates. It's not anymore the way it used to be before the flood. Solid, not shaking. Now we experience earthquakes and volcanoes, tsunamis. All these things are about to happen. And we know that Jesus predicted it this way, that it's going to be at the end of the times, that it's going to be here and there volcanoes, earthquakes, and it will be rising nation against nation. So we can see clearly that it's not so much these war conflicts that they're becoming too much on a political basis, but on ethnical basis. We see too many ethnical wars appearing now, and on faith ground beliefs. So what happened after the flood, and a little bit small investigation about an interview with Dr. Lauren Day. She was working in California, very, very good doctor. So she's describing basically the contemporary reason for people having cancer. It's not just a disease, it's a condition under which we live now. It's the condition due to consequences after the flood. So that's why we do develop cancerous cells. What's the salvation? She's giving us some bonuses over there in this videotape. So most of you guys are probably, you know what's the free radicals, as I explained into the previous sessions, and how you can diminish this into your body, and how you can keep a vivid, healthy lifestyle until you're old. Not just to get to the age of 90, but to get to the age of 90 in good health, so you can still be useful, not to be crippled, not just to be a burden to your relative. So today I'm thinking to reveal a little bit deeper all these investigations. Let's get back to the planet Earth before the flood. As I say, it was a beautiful planet, it was done with wisdom to sustain life perpetually, non-stop, going on, life. Something happened at the time of the Noah's flood, which says, the Bible is mentioning, Psalm 46 verse 6 says, God added its voice and the earth melted, because it's like an egg. And we know now that it's out of balance. We got one ideal, one real pole, and one navigational pole, because due to the ferromagnet into the center of the planet Earth, that it keeps moving. So it's not stable. For the airplanes and the ships to navigate safely, they need to have a gyro compass, so they don't lose their course and get safely. So, let me remember again. It used to be a very, very good firmament, which in Hebrew is called rakiach. In the Bible, in the very beginning, on day 2, that firmament appeared, and God said, let it be firmament to distinguish the water above from the water below. It was still one vast majority of water on the first day. It didn't appear dry land. So, this was done from heavy hydrogen, which under super cold temperature becomes metal. That's what rakiach means, metal. Under compressed temperature, the hydrogen becomes with a crystalline structure, and it has the same characteristics like a metal. So metal, electroconductive, like every metal does. Superconductive metal we have out there hanging out. We have transparency, so the sunlight can beam through, but as we said, the very strong UVs are not going through. They're being filtered out, going around when it tends for the light to get tired. When it gets tired, simply it's going into the other spectrum of light, into the infrared spectrum, so it doesn't harm people, it was going down. That's why before the flood we didn't have the UV that it harms us. It kicks out one of the electrons of the oxygen, and oxygen becomes unstable, so it's becoming free radical, so it's stealing one molecule from us, from animals, from the plants, as we breathe in, photosynthesize the plants. So, we used to have a beautiful, balanced, ecological system to be going perpetuum mobile, non-stop going on. Let me repeat. A human being put into this atmosphere, 24, 23 degrees Celsius, carbon dioxide 25%, nitrogen 72%, oxygen 25%. Due to now that we have carbon dioxide 100 times less, nitrogen, we got now more nitrogen, and we got almost 5%, 0.05%, which is quite a lot less oxygen. And this is not the oxygen before the flood. We're saying that this oxygen it's aggressive, very much aggressive, due to the ultraviolet. So a person before the flood put into this atmosphere with the 2.25 atmospheric pressure was able to run without fatigue for 3 hours, 300 kilometers. So around 100 kilometers an hour, up to 120 maybe, when it does the sprint. So after 3 hours, he gotta sit and rest a little bit until this milk acid in his muscles disappear, and then he can run again for another 3 hours. Good thing. And the Lord said something very special, that He was disappointed from us. He said that the spirit that I put into the human being before the flood happened, He's showing to Noah that he's been disappointed of the humanity, of the creatures that He created, because they turned bad. They turned after their own wishes and doing things instead of turning to the Lord. So He said, the spirit that I put in him, it won't dwell with him for so many years, but it shall be no longer than 120 years. That's how far we get now today. Even further on into the Psalms, it says it's good if there is a strength up to 78 years to get but with the strength. After that, man is just crippled creature. So obviously there is something wrong in the system that it happened, and obviously whoever created the planet, whoever created us, animals and the plants, has to come back and fix it. That's what we find in the Revelation chapter 21. It's a chapter that describes the recreation, everything, restoration, everything to be done again in a good manner. First thing, let us do not forget that there is a battle going on this planet. So the first generation, that it was the Cain's generation. It was on the side of the fallen angel. And the other generation, after Abel was killed and Seth has been born, the sixth generation, this distinction was strict until sometimes, because people tend to forget. That's why we need the book, we need records, so this is about to remind us where we are going to, where we're heading to. It shows us where we are coming from. A person without history is a person without future. Same with the countries. So basically, this enmity which the Lord put between the seed of the snake and the seed of the woman keeps going on. This battle keeps continuing after the flood as well. Let me say something that the Bible is not saying clearly, but we know from quite a lot of information sources that after the flood, these so-called fallen angels, how the Bible is describing them, they have been, let us remember what was the most precious things at this time, at these ages. The first Sumerian, what they were doing, they were digging what? Gold. What for? Let me remind you, the sun visors of the astronauts, they're built up with very high, pure, clean gold, which is 99.9 imperial gold, which is transparent. That's what we find in the Bible. In the chapter 21, mentioned 3 times, I renew everything. Revelation chapter 21, the verse 11, 18, 21. All there, the Lord is talking about this pure gold, that it's transparent like a glass. What these fallen angels knew quite a lot, they're highly high-tech developed creatures, and that's what we find out by the Sumerian tablets, by the other sources that we have. They were trying to rebuild not only the human being to be living much longer. That's why we find into the mythology, the Greek mythology, mixture, like Centaurus, like Minotaurus, like mermaids. So many that the god Neptunus, that he's the god of the deep seas, the god of heaven. So many forces that have been described not only into the Greek mythology, before that into the Sumerian mythology. They keep going on and on and on. So they have been worshipped, these gods and goddesses, according to the worshipping to the fallen angel. On the other side, we had always chosen people that they have preserved their faith. They kept going on. Let me put my attention on these fallen angels. First things, they were trying to prolong the human life to be much longer. What for? Because everything what man keeps thinking about it, it's a continuously only evil. So that's where we've been going astray, that's where we've been heading to. And that's even today. What for human beings are thinking, what the brilliancy of the engineers and technicians is used for, building up military weapons, systems, you name it. How to squeeze more another nation, another group of people. I'm sorry, that's what we are. And they were digging gold. The most ancient gold mines there in Africa. That's what the scientists are finding today, that they're deep tunnels. Actually, throughout the whole planet has been quite a lot of tunneling being done. And let's say when you have gold in a dust form spread out, let us remember the electromagnetic field around the planet after the flood was still quite strong. Probably they were thinking, oh, it's going to keep hanging out. It takes calculation, but it takes the knowledge, and it takes to have that in account that the Lord God Almighty can destroy it anytime He wants it. Never mind that the electromagnetic gravitational field of the planet Earth is diminishing exponentially. So this project obviously failed. For these long ages, to be able for the human race to be continuing going on, living for long, doing evil and only evil. So this project failed. One more, most contemporary project. U.S. military forces, they had developed, even after the Second World War, quite a lot of interesting military projects. One of them involved 4 rockets, but these rockets, instead of having a nuclear warhead, they had being shot north, south, east, west equally. So they dispersed up into the Van Allen fields, into the ionosphere, up more than 50 kilometers up into space. No radionuclear waste, but small needles, 1 inch each, very thin copper needles. What these needles have done, they added more visibility, and the ionosphere was pinkish, very much ionized. So the whole Van Allen fields have become like a big radar. So everything that flies up into space and from space down into the planet Earth, it's pretty much visible. Okay, this in the military purpose has been done, but it damaged the electromagnetic field very much. Like the Project Philadelphia, like the Project Aquarius, Project Sign, Project Anger, Phoenix. And before that, who is interested, he gotta dig in deeper about these projects. I don't want to talk about the mind control projects and that dear Project Paperclip, Project Chatter, Project MK Delta, Project MK Ultra. All this is involved CIA directly and the military forces. Project Alternative 1, 2 and 3. The Project Alternative has been done together with the ex-USSR. Biotelemetric and synthetic telepathy. Gene engineering. HARP. HARP, I want to talk about HARP. It's a public secret now that this system is not, as they were saying, for the weather control help to the planet Earth, but this is a military system that has been built up, to help the Navy, especially the submarines, and after that, all these climate controls that they've been done, not only in Vietnam and later on to the North Korea, all these dredge that they have created, it's been done by HARP. And the third phase of HARP, they are using HARP to create small earthquakes. But now it's very easy to recognize these earthquakes from the naturally occurred earthquakes, because very, very bottom line, naturally occurred earthquakes, they have first a big shock and they have after that aftershocks. When the HARP works, you got small amplitude that it keeps increasing, and then you get the major shock. And you don't have aftershocks after that. Maybe you can have 1 or 2, but that's how it works. So the seismological stations around the globe now, they can say which was done by HARP. Not anymore. Secrecy. And as the Bible is saying, that everything that it is hidden shall be revealed. Thanks God for this. Because you don't want to live in the secret society that everybody is doing something secret and you don't know. You gotta have open mind and heart. That's how we are supposed to live. That's what we have been created, to the glory of God. Not to the glory of the devil, no, to the glory of God. So there are all these different interesting information that you see, the military has been developed, and I'm talking not only the United States and USSR, but as well Germany and France. And who's pulling the strings on all this? Who's trying to orchestrate the governments? Who's trying to orchestrate the people that they work in the government? Because even those big men that they're the presidents of the countries, they're puppets on the strings. I don't think, personally, that some of them going to bring peace on the planet Earth. But whoever created the planet Earth, he, when he comes back and restores it, and restores everything on it, is going to bring peace. That's the promise of the Bible as well. And we can see that. And it's true. Let me stop my attention to one very interesting book. This is a book by Jim Marrs. That it's originally, it's been translated to my own language, to Bulgarian. So that's in Bulgarian, but Jim Marrs, Ruled by Secrecy, The Hidden History That Connects the Trilateral Commission, the Freemasons, and the Great Pyramids. Copyright 2000 by Jim Marrs. HarperCollins Publishers, Incorporated, 2000. So I'm just simply going to put attention what he's talking about into this book. The question for the conspiracy, which is not anymore conspiracy. It's a public secret. Folks, it is a public secret. All these contemporary hidden secret societies like the Bilderbergs, Rockefellers, Morgans, Rothschilds, the CFA, the Trilateral Committee, the secret money in the Federal Reserve, round tables, Rhodes and Ruskin, schools and bonds, all these are existing today, and we know that they're working. What for? He is giving everything from the report of the Iron Mountain, Persian Gulf, who's paying the bill, Vietnam, JF Kennedy against the globalists, till the end with Lyndon Johnson, Korea, doing business with the enemy as usual. It is so sweet. He's paying attention how the Nazi cult came onto power. Who were the forces and the financial powers that have been supporting the coming of the Nazi cult. Theosophists, Tullists, and other occults. The leaders coming, he's talking here about Hitler, and the group that is supporting Hitler, that he overturns the table, and Japan as well. He's exploiting here the Second World War, business as usual, First World War, the reasons for the First World War, Russian Revolution, the upcoming and uprising of the communism as a system, revolutions, secret societies. He's going back retrospectively from today's day back into the ancient days, the medieval time. Anti-Masonry movements, French Revolution, Jacobins and the Stuarts, St. Francis Bacon and the New Atlantis, American Revolution, Illuminati, Franc-Masonry, Graf Saint Germain and the other occultists, Masons, Franc-Masonry is against the Christianity, Rosenkreuzers. And he's going into the oldest Masonry societies like the Templars, Hachashins, Templars, bankers, and the builders. The death of the Templars, Zanat, Priorat, Merovingians, and he is talking about, which really got me, the ancient mysteries, the road to Rome, Kabbalah, ancient mysteries. Do we know everything about Moses? And at the end he's saying all the roads are going to Shumer. Floods and wars. I want to read something that he mentioned here. He's got very much bibliography, and I'm going to quote this, that even that Sumerian clay tablets are exploiting quite a lot of the history that it used to be before that. They were clever. They didn't use paper and ink because it's getting lost quite fast, so they put everything on clay tablets. So that's how we know what it used to be. How the Sodom and Gomorrah died, because it was the part of this Sumerian civilization, Sodom and Gomorrah. So I believe this is the first time the God used the nuclear power. Even up today, this salted sea, it's giving quite a lot of information about radioactivity, nuclearization, so it's still exhausting alpha and gamma radiation. So, even here, commentary about the conclusion at the very end, Jim Mars is saying, let me one more time explain that we believe that in the ancient Sumerian and other Mesopotamian legends, even if they're absolute truth history, these tales that it came to us through the thousands of ages by word and by letters, by clay tablets, they are twisted up to some point in purpose. From whom? They're all concluding that all this has been twisted up to some point from these fallen angels, that they have been working hand by hand with the fallen people. That the way they've been doing these creatures after the flood, so they can live longer, and these biological experiments, we can see this is still going on today. Biological experiments. But they're not only trying to read your mind, they're not only trying to read your credit cards, your bank account, bank statement, to control you up to such a degree so they know what you are thinking. All this is instrument into the fallen angel's hand. So, let's folks, do not let him use us in such a way. And that's why I'm saying, you just put your heart close to this book, which is the true book. And there is no lie in it. That it says that the God so loved the world that he sent his only begotten Son, that whosoever believe in him shall not perish, but will have eternal life. So that's where I'm heading, folks. I got my hope, and my hope is built on a solid rock. That's what, on a solid rock I stand, not on a shifting sand, as one of our songs sings about it. So, if you want to have hope and joy and peace, inner peace in your mind, don't go into these theories about that you can be having peace, inner peace about, I can do it myself. You know, quite a lot of things today are, I can do it myself. You cannot do yourself a creation, recreation, yourself a God or something else. Even though today we're highly developed, these flying saucers that have been flying into the Mahabharata and Ramayana, that they're described into the ancient Vedas, into the books of the Indian books, they're still flying today. and we just copy them. Men do copy knowledge. Monkey see, monkey do. And we did build them up. They are existing right now. If you ever heard about a project Astra, this is the skunk projects that they have into the Northrop Grumman. They did build up the flying saucer today. It's not even flying saucer. They have been delta wings, and it's the model that they are putting in experiences. It's 3R3B Astra. They're flying since 1982. Russians have them as well. So one side doesn't know which is the most advanced weapon on the other side, so that's why they're scared they don't start. Otherwise, what do you think? They're gonna wait? They're gonna wipe up each other. Or they do something more clever, like, why don't we exploit each other's natural resources, human resources, and everything else, so the rich can get richer and the poor can get poorer. Poor gonna get squeezed like a lemon, and there you go. Once you squeeze the lemon, you throw it in the garbage. You just drink the juice. That's what you need, right? The juice, the power that it gives you. But the Lord doesn't think this way. You are precious to me, and whoever touches you touches the eyeball of my eye. That's what he says. So, what he says at the very end, there you go, I am with you until the end of the time. Go and preach this gospel, this good news. Go preach it to the nations, go preach it to the people, so they have knowledge. After the knowledge, they can build up their faith. They got to go back through the history, through the times to see, until they come to the contemporary days to see what's going on, what's in the picture. And when you put all these small elements from the puzzle, the big picture comes out. So you see the picture. And that's my message today to you folks. Do the puzzle. Build up the small elements from the puzzle so you can get your picture. Once you see the picture, you'll know where you're heading to. Otherwise, you'll be like a sheep in the foggy sea. But when you have the light that beams towards you, you know where the docks are, so you can dock safely. So that's my hope, folks, and I think I told you a little bit. I just opened a little bit what's ahead of you. Because it's like one track of bread that you're supposed to eat for 1 year. I cannot give it to you to eat it within half an hour. You gotta eat it slowly throughout the whole year. So, do your studies, pray to the Lord so He guides you and leads you more and more. One knowledge leads to another, like Socrates says. When he drops a stone in the water, it starts making concentric circles, and they go away after one after another. That's the knowledge, he says. I don't know. But the other people don't even know that they don't know. So let us be knowledgeable. Let us be not without knowledge, without faith, without a headlight. So we know where we're going. And one day we can possess the new promised land, the new earth, with this wonderful high-tech city. And most of all, we can be together with the Creator, the one who created us for glory, happiness, and let the goodness inherit the earth. Not any more evil, not any more dark forces. In Jesus' name, I give thanks and credit to all of this that His Majesty and wisdom created from the very beginning. And He who began to do good work in you, He's able to complete it. In Jesus' name, Amen.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you want to. God bless you, and have a nice day.